If a fellow isn't thankful for what he's got, he isn't likely to be thankful for what he's going to get. Frank A. Clark. Some memories are unforgettable, remaining ever vivid and heartwarming. Joseph B. Worthlin. Gratitude can transform common days into Thanksgivings, turn routine jobs into joy, and change ordinary opportunities into blessings. William Arthur Ward. The thankful receiver bears a plentiful harvest. William Blake. Be thankful for what you have. You'll end up having more. If you concentrate on what you don't have, you will never, ever have enough. Oprah Winfrey. Thanksgiving, man, not a good day to be my pants. Kevin James. There is one day that is ours. Thanksgiving Day is the one day that is purely American. O. Henry. Thanksgiving Day is a good day to recommit our energies to giving thanks and just giving. Amy Grant. If you are really thankful, what do? You share. W. Clement Stone. I'm thankful for every moment. Al Green. Vegetables are a must on a diet. I suggest carrot cake, zucchini bread, and pumpkin pie. Jim Davis. To give thanks in solitude is enough. Thanksgiving has wings and goes where it must go. Your prayer knows much more about it than you do. Victor Hugo. I celebrated Thanksgiving in an old-fashioned way. I invited everyone in my neighborhood to my house. We had an enormous feast, and then I killed them and took their land. Jon Stewart. Pride slays Thanksgiving, but a humble mind is the soil out of which thanks naturally grow. A proud man is seldom a grateful man, for he never thinks he gets as much as he deserves. Henry Ward Beecher. An optimist is a person who starts a new diet on Thanksgiving Day. Of cups in it. Over and over I marvel at the blessings of my life. Each year has grown better than the last. Lawrence Welk. My cooking is so bad my kids thought Thanksgiving was to commemorate Pearl Harbor. Phyllis Diller. Dear Lord, we beg but one boon more, peace in the hearts of all men living, peace in the whole world this Thanksgiving. Joseph Auslander. For what I have received may the Lord make me truly thankful, and more truly for what I have not received. Storm Jameson. That's one of the great things about Thanksgiving. Football's on. Michael Strahan. Thanksgiving is a time when the world gets to see just how blessed and how workable the Christian system is. The emphasis is not on giving or buying, but on being thankful and expressing that appreciation to God and to one another. John Clayton. Drink and be thankful to the host. What seems insignificant when you have it is important when you need it. Franz Grillparzer. A lot of Thanksgiving days have been ruined by not carving the turkey in the kitchen. Kin Hubbard. You may have heard of Black Friday and Cyber Monday. There's another day you might want to know about, Giving Tuesday. The idea is pretty straightforward. On the Tuesday after Thanksgiving, shoppers take a break from their gift buying and donate what they can to charity. Bill Gates. Best of all is it to preserve everything in a pure, still heart, and let there be for every pulse a thanksgiving, and for every breath a song. Conrad von Gessner. If you think about a Thanksgiving dinner, It's really like making a large chicken in a garden. Thanksgiving just gets me all warm and tingly and all kinds of wonderful inside. Willard Scott. If you think Independence Day is America's defining holiday, think again. Thanksgiving deserves that title, hands down. Tony Snow. On Thanksgiving, I will stop to give thanks that my family is safe and healthy, especially because I realize that, following the tragedies of this year, it is all too real a possibility that they might not have been. Bobby Jindal. I miss both of my parents terribly every day, but especially as we approach Thanksgiving. We always came together as a family for that holiday, playing capture the flag and touch football and laughing a lot. Mark Shriver. My most memorable meal is every Thanksgiving. I love the food, the turkey and stuffing, the sweet potatoes and rice, which come from my mother's Southern heritage, the mashed potatoes, which come from my wife's Midwestern roots, the Campbell's green bean casserole, and of course, pumpkin pie. Douglas Conant. My fondest memories are generally the day after Thanksgiving. I get the total decorating Christmas itch. Catherine McPhee. Even though we're a week and a half away from Thanksgiving, it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Richard Roper. It is now common knowledge that the average American gains 7 pounds between Thanksgiving and New Year's Day. Mary Lou Henner. If no one shopped on Thanksgiving Day, the stores wouldn't open. End of story. I say we all take the pledge and stay home. Thanksgiving is a day to give thanks for what you have, not to save a few dollars to get more. Regina Brett. I love chicken. I would eat chicken fingers on Thanksgiving if it was socially acceptable. Todd Barry. I've spent a lot of Thanksgivings on the road with my band, so anytime that I can spend Thanksgiving with my family in a traditional aspect, eating sweet potatoes and cranberries, and stuffing and all the trappings of Thanksgiving and then get on a treadmill the next day extra long, I'm happy. Richie Sambora. My mom makes something called green pie, which I thought was a delicacy that many people only had at Thanksgiving, but it turns out it was just Jell-O with whipped cream on it, and it's delicious. Bobby Moynihan. Thanksgiving is a season that is very much in accord with the themes and teachings of Jesus Christ. John Clayton. When people come to my act any time after Thanksgiving, I usually say, you shouldn't be here. You should be shopping. Our economy depends on you. You should be out there buying stuff. Lewis Black. Christians were instructed to serve others, and the Thanksgiving was for the grace of God and the fact that God offered a way for man to return to a positive relationship with Him. John Clayton. I give thanks to my Creator for this wonderful life where each of us has the opportunity to learn lessons we could not fully comprehend by any other means. Joseph B. Worthlin. I think that is a better thing than Thanksgiving. Thanks-living, how is this to be done? By a general cheerfulness of manner, by an obedience to the command of Him, by whose mercy we live, by a perpetual, constant delighting of ourselves in the Lord, and by a submission of our desires to His will. Charles Spurgeon. Thanksgiving is one of my favorite days of the year, because it reminds us to give thanks and to count our blessings. Suddenly, so many things become so little when we realize how blessed and lucky we are. Joyce Jarrow. From too much love of living, from hope and fear set free, we thank with brief thanksgiving whatever gods may be, that no life lives forever, that dead men rise up never, that even the weariest river wins somewhere safe to see. Algernon Charles Swinburne. Since 1981, I've spent every Thanksgiving Day broadcasting a game, and it is one of my favorite days. You can say, woe is me, I never get to be part of the tradition, or you can say, heck, we've got our own tradition, and it's pretty good. John Madden. Every Thanksgiving, we all write down 3 things we're thankful for and put them in a hat. Then we pass the hat around the dinner table and everyone has to guess who wrote what. Debbie Ryan. You can't have a good Thanksgiving meal without a little bit of ketchup on the side. Patrick Mahomes. To give back during a holiday where it's all about giving and being thankful. I've always been blessed to have a meal on my plate during Thanksgiving, and to spread that feeling to someone else's family. It's special. This is something that is truly important to me. Tobias Harris. What a marvelous resource soup is for the thrifty cook. It solves the ham bone and lamb bone problems, the everlasting Thanksgiving turkey, the extra vegetables. Julia Child. I am grateful to have my life back and for the friends and family who never gave up on me, for a God who was there when I was ready to find him. I am grateful for so much, that every day, one day at a time, is Thanksgiving. Andrew Zimmern. Thanksgiving is really a holiday that allows us all, if only for a day, to stop what we're doing and consider the wonderful people in our lives and the opportunities we have and have had. Trish Regan. What I love about Thanksgiving is that it's purely about getting together with friends or family and enjoying food. It's really for everybody, and it doesn't matter where you're from. Daniel Hum. It's like being at the kids' table at Thanksgiving. You can put your elbows on it. You don't have to talk politics. No matter how old I get, there's always a part of me that's sitting there. John Hughes. I love Thanksgiving because it's a holiday that is centered around food and family, 2 things that are of utmost importance to me. Marcus Samuelson. My parents came from little, so they made a choice to give a lot, buying turkeys for homeless shelters at Thanksgiving, delivering meals to people in hospices, giving spare change to those asking for it. Meghan Markle. The truth is, the Super Bowl long ago became more than just a football game. It's part of our culture, like turkey at Thanksgiving and lights at Christmas. And like those holidays, beyond their meaning, a factor in our economy. Bob Schieffer. Every year, I hear about Thanksgiving, who do one give thanks to, and who is giving thanks. What are they giving thanks for? For lots of poverty that's on the earth and lots of war that is a-rumoring all over the earth. For lots of people who die daily and the crime that multiply. Peter Tosh. On Thanksgiving night, 1942, when I was 15 years old, white racists burned our house to the ground. Coretta Scott King. There are 3 things that people pick up on the instant they walk into your home on Thanksgiving. They will be able to feel the human energy, they'll smell the food, and they will see, instantly, the table. Danny Meyer. Most people think to make green bean casserole around Thanksgiving and Christmas, but honestly, I make this dish more during the summer, when green beans can be found fresh at the market. I think it is the perfect meal when served with crusty bread, a bountiful salad, and a cup or two of wine. Damaris Phillips. I'm vegetarian, but I love Thanksgiving dinner. Fox turkey, stuffing and mashed potatoes. Lee Lezer. I'm from Canada, so Thanksgiving to me is just Thursday with more food, and I'm thankful for that. Howie Mandel. Thanksgiving Day, the holiday, has a certain feeling to it. The Ultimate Warrior. Halloween is fun, but it wasn't always my favorite holiday. I think Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday. Tobin Bell. I do think that Thanksgiving is a very nice holiday because it's all about saying thank you. It's being thankful. Jacob Tremblay. I've been giving back since I was a teen. Handing out turkeys at Thanksgiving and handing out toys at toys drives for Christmas. It's very important to give back as a youth. It's as simple as helping an old lady across the street or giving up your seat on the bus for someone who is pregnant. Queen Latifah. I'm not a big turkey fan, but my husband loves it. Thanksgiving is his favorite meal. Ruth Reichel. Thank God for YouTube. Every Thanksgiving, I'm bombarded with turkey lurkey time. Donna McKechnie. I grew up in Boston, and we'd have every Thanksgiving at my parents' house there. Maura Tierney. Remembering that the real meaning of Thanksgiving is gratitude and not food will bring the focus back there. Joshua Rosenthal. I don't think any other holiday embraces the food of the Midwest quite like Thanksgiving. There's roasted meat and mashed potatoes, but being here is also about heritage. Cleveland is really a giant melting pot. Not only is my family a melting pot, but so is the city. Michael Simon. Friday, the day after Thanksgiving, is the biggest shopping day of the year. It's also the biggest leftovers day of the year. Steve Ducey. I loved my mum so much because she had to work on a penny just to put food on the table. During the Depression in the United States, everybody had a tough time. And I was so hurt because she was crying that she didn't have any food for us for Thanksgiving. Tony Bennett. The Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade was big for us. Even bigger was the night before, when they would blow up the balloons every year. I'd make a thermos of hot chocolate and we'd walk with the kids. It was just so much fun to see Snoopy come to life in the street. Cynthia Germanota. Agriculture is a business that has been up to its bib overalls in politics since the first Thanksgiving dinner kickback to the Indians for subsidizing Pilgrim maize production with fish head fertilizer grants. P.J. O'Rourke. At Thanksgiving, I always start at the top of my list and say I'm grateful for friends, family, and good health. Then I get more superficial, like being thankful for my loud outings. Christy Brinkley. The more I come to recognize my story's place in God's grander story, my once bewildered questions are turning to songs of thanksgiving at the wonder that I have been included in what He is doing. Gloria Gaither. The act is unjustifiable that either begs for a blessing or, having succeeded, gives no thanksgiving. Merle Shane. I love Halloween, trick-or-treating and decorating the house, and I love Thanksgiving because of the football and the fall weather, and of course, I love Christmas. That's my favorite of all. Joe Nichols. It's part of the American experience. We deal with mosquitoes in August, airport delays around Thanksgiving, expensive health care, and the potential of being shot at any time. by a semi-automatic weapon as we try to go about the most boring, precious, asinine aspects of our daily lives. Monica Hess. When I was about 9 years old, I announced to my mother that I was going to cook Thanksgiving dinner, and I went to the library and got this whole pile of books. I'd love to say it all turned out great. It didn't, but sort of, from that point on. Whenever there was serious cooking at home, I was the one who did it. Nathan Myhrvold. Black Friday is not another bad hair day in Wall Street. It's the term used by American retailers to describe the day after the Thanksgiving holiday, seen as the semi-official start of Christmas shopping season. Evan Davis. As much as I love crisp, clean whites, there's always a time for rich but balanced Chardonnays with oak, especially at Thanksgiving. Gary Vaynerchuk. My favorite meal is turkey and mashed potatoes. I love Thanksgiving. It's just my favorite. I can have Thanksgiving all year round. Cindy Margolis. Let's say you go to a friend's wedding, or Thanksgiving, or Halloween. It'd be great the next day to see what went on with your friend's Thanksgiving weekend, or all the costumes they wore on Halloween, and be able to look back and see what they wore the year before, and the year before that. Mike McHugh. The key to a successful Thanksgiving is planning. Know what needs to get done, when it needs to be done, and how much effort and time it's going to take you. J. Kenji Lopez-Alt. I am grateful for what I am and have. My Thanksgiving is perpetual. Henry David Thoreau. Thanksgiving is probably my favorite holiday. It's a day that's American to the core, and it's a day that's all about what and how we eat. Marcus Samuelson. Holiday binge buying has deep roots in American culture. Department stores have been associating turkey gluttony with its spending equivalent since they began sponsoring Thanksgiving Day parades in the early 20th century. Adam Davidson. Life is all about balance, and there are certain times of the year, birthday, anniversary, holidays, that are meant to be enjoyed without guilt. That being said, Thanksgiving is a meal, it's not a Thanksgiving Day, and it's not a Thanksgiving week. Harley Pasternak. Thanksgiving is a time of togetherness and gratitude. Nigel Hamilton. I keep saying this, and I keep putting it off because I get busy, but I keep saying one year I'm gonna tape our Thanksgiving dinner or, like, our Christmas dinner and maybe put it on my website, just for people to see how funny it really is. How much fun it really is. Tony Rock. Always expect the unexpected, right around Thanksgiving, when the new Alex Cross will be out. It's called For Blind Mice, and it's a pretty amazing story about several murders inside the military. James Patterson. The earliest you can play Christmas music is on Thanksgiving. Tinashe. We have 40 people over for Thanksgiving, 30 people for Easter lunch, 35 people on Christmas Eve. People tend to expect to spend their holidays with us, which is lovely and an expectation I carry with pride. Sonia Walger. We have had the exact same meal for Thanksgiving and Christmas since I can ever remember. And it's so simple. It's just turkey and mashed potatoes and green beans and stuffing. Just the basics, but it's so good. Brandy Cyrus. Under the new government of the Constitution, beginning in 1789, all of the peacetime measures were repeated: chaplains, prayers, memorials of Thanksgiving. The Northwest Ordinance, Funding for the Christian education of Indians. M. Stanton Evans. In many ways, September feels like the busiest time of the year. The kids go back to school, work piles up after the summer's dog days, and Thanksgiving is suddenly upon us. Brené Brown. My mother loved entertaining, and I followed suit, so we have big celebrations for New Year, Passover, Thanksgiving and birthdays. Joan Rivers. One cannot rule out a blizzard in Minnesota after Labor Day, and so when I travel for Thanksgiving or any time in the fall, I am careful to fly into Des Moines instead of Minneapolis and then drive the 200 miles north to my hometown. Hope Jarin. In our family, Mom and Dad are Longhorns. Our first two kids are Aggies, and we're hoping our last one is a Longhorn. It gives us family fun on Thanksgiving Day. Bob Wells. Every Thanksgiving, we visited our New York cousins and went shopping at Bergdorf's and Saks for long dresses to wear to the homestead for New Year's Eve. Tinsley Mortimer. I really don't do much on the night of Thanksgiving other than bring the wine and carve the turkey. My contribution comes the day after, in the form of breakfast. I usually just forage through the leftovers for things that will go well with eggs. Wiley Dufresne. The Grinch may have stolen Christmas, but COVID derailed Thanksgiving for everybody. Steve Ducey. It's so warm now, and Thanksgiving came so early. Is it just me, or does it not really feel like Ramadan? David Letterman. After church on the Sunday after Thanksgiving, my family would go chop down our Christmas tree. Once it was home and placed in its stand, Mum and I would painstakingly decorate our tree. It took hours to place the tinsel, string the lights, find the perfect spot for my favorite macaroni and felt ornaments from kindergarten. Marley O'Keefe. I played a sport for most of my adult life that required me to work on two of the biggest holidays in America, Thanksgiving and Christmas. Mark Slariff. I was introduced to the turducken in New Orleans, and it wasn't Thanksgiving. Glenn at the Gourmet Butcher Block brought it by, and I had never heard of it or had seen one, and they put it in the booth, and it smelled so good that I had to taste it, and it was good. Then Thanksgiving came, and we got one in addition to the traditional turkey. John Madden. One of my most memorable Thanksgiving memories was probably the first year that me and my two brothers decided to start our annual eating contest. We ate throughout the whole day. We started that morning and weighed ourselves, and at the very end of the night, we weighed ourselves out, and all three of us equally gained 5 pounds. Charles Kelly. I remember back in the days my mum didn't have enough for Thanksgiving. J. Rock. I was 23 when I learned how to cook. I grew up around the same time. It was precisely then that Thanksgiving started to mean something more. Growing up, Christmas was always about me, and eventually you, when I finally started to enjoy the giving part. But Thanksgiving is always about us. Rosecrans Baldwin. My mother very rarely skipped a Thanksgiving turkey, and yet, none of them ever tasted quite the same, landing somewhere on a sliding scale of succulence. She'd try new methods. Wesley Morris. So many people dread Thanksgiving because they find it traumatic or uncomfortable. My suggestion is to come with a couple of great questions for the table. Larry David. I have a good house for hosting, so we had the barbecues, and some of the guys over for Thanksgiving, even Christmas. Logan Mankins. It's a bit of a sore spot, the Thanksgiving in Indian country. Ruby Robertson. Across Central Virginia, the traditions of Thanksgiving bring us closer together with those we love. We gather with family and close friends. We share memories and laughter. And we give thanks for the profound blessing of living in the United States. Abigail Spanberger. Shopmas now begins on Thanksgiving Day, apparently. Escaping the families you cannot stand to spend another minute with on Thanksgiving Day to go by. Them gifts is how some Americans show their affection for one another. Weird. Barry Riffles. I was a public aid recipient for about 9 years as a kid, and this time of year was always tough sledding. So I just committed myself to doing something good for someone at Thanksgiving, and especially Christmas. Jesse White. Christmas and Thanksgiving are the 2 days of the year where we know the Spurs are going to stay off the boots because the family doesn't have to work. It's such a nice and rare treat. Ree Drummond. Thanksgiving, for me, is a time for reflection. Trish Regan. For the big holidays like Christmas and Thanksgiving, we always have turkey. Steve Ducey. When I first sat down with my oncologist the day before Thanksgiving, and she told me I would need 8 rounds of chemo, one of my first questions admittedly was, will I lose my hair? It sounds shallow, I know, but it was a very scary image to me. Amy Robach. I absolutely adore Thanksgiving. It's the only holiday I insist on making myself. Ina Garten. I'm not the best in the kitchen, but if someone gives me something to do, I can do it. I'm a good teammate. Come Thanksgiving time, I kind of just do what my mom tells me to. Emily Wickersham. The men and women in the armed forces. That's what I always think about and what I teach my kids about. We're getting ready to sit down at the table and have Thanksgiving, and there's people that are not with their families. Guy Fieri. It's funny, I was talking to somebody who writes for a cop show, and he was saying how they aren't allowed to acknowledge Christmas, Thanksgiving, Valentine's Day, just because it has to be able to play forever. Hannah Simone.